But that's what prideful, judgmental people do. But they think it's right. It's amazing. And I want you to know that as long as you're judging, you're never going to be happy. You can't judge, you're not God. Yes, ma'am.
And you don't resent what you see about yourself. When you do, I used to, when I saw that I did something wrong, I'd resent.
You can't judge anything. Yeah.
And in fact, I can remember when I changed. I changed overnight. And I remember it was a decision I made that I couldn't not do the right thing. I made a choice, and I saw that I couldn't help but give in to these people. I gave in to somebody, and I didn't really want to, and I hated myself,
yes,
judged myself, and after that, I couldn't make a right decision to save my soul. Every decision.
That's such an important point.
Because what?
That is a good point.
And that was a judgment.
Yes.
I guess I just judged everything I did after that, and I don't know.
Yes. Again, you reminded me of something. I was talking to another friend, and I realized what's holding my friend down is that they don't speak up for themselves. And because they want to be liked, but then they get angry at themselves for not speaking up, and then they get mad at the person or people that they can't speak up to. It's just one thing leads to another one. And so I said, look, you got to start speaking up. Just speak up for yourself. You'll feel better. And then eventually you can work out this hateful thing, because they don't want to hate either, but they're hating not being able to speak up. You got to start speaking up, but don't resent. You have to. You're never going to be free if you can't speak up and not resent. Because you can, some people are speaking up, but they're hateful people and they're still unhappy. You got to drop the resentment. It's not just about speaking up either. It's about not hating yourself and others. That's where your freedom is, when you can give up the anger. Very good point. You know, John, I saw you a while back, and it's been so long.
Well, what I was going to say has been covered in the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I know resentment is a sign that you fall in judgment, but what about entertaining a thought? I had a situation happen yesterday. I could have took it the wrong way, but the judgment came. It was like a cloud just came in. So that, he meant to do this.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily feel. I don't think I felt resentment. But
if you were
entertain a thought, is that?
If you were entertaining a thought, you were resenting. That's why you entertain it. Because you want to get all the life out of it that you can possibly get. This old mean person, they meant that. They knew exactly what they were doing. That's why you entertain it.
Like a question, like,
no,
it could
that's not
either way,
That's you and the devil having a good time hating. Yeah, that is party time.
Right.
When you entertain a thought, you're partying it up, getting all the joy you can, hating other folks. When you are not angry, that's what it means to resist the devil when he tempts you. Because when you're not angry and he's coming at you with those kind of thoughts, you let them go. You can't even entertain a thought if you're up.
Like for 2 seconds.
No. It can't even enter into your imagination. If you want to overcome this, you got to get to know yourself. I recommend that you could have it free. Get a copy of my prayer CD that shows you how to calm down so the truth can take over your life. Call my office at 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. All right, thank you for tuning in, and thank you guys for coming as well. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you coming in off the heels of a great Bond archive premiere on the Bond channel. You want to be following all the channels. Bond, Rebuilding the Man. If you really want the message, if you really want the truth, you want more. You want more than the memes. You know, beta, it's got you thinking a bit, but there has to be more. Bond, Rebuilding the Man. Rebuilding the man by rebuilding the family. Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. What a tagline. Doesn't that interest you? Don't you want to find out what that means? Yeah, they just had a premiere on the Bond channel, so everybody's rolling in to my stream, to my show here from that, and that's nice. Appreciate it, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. I'm your host, the American Anchor Baby. And I got a bit of a show for you. Going to get right into it. I want to welcome everybody, though. I'm streaming on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. DLive.tv. Pardon. DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. And punchy.tv, okay? PUNCHIE.tv. We just got finished filming an brand new epi of Punchy TV. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. Well, it was fun. It'll be fun for all of you. So thanks for tuning in. 88. Look, let me give you the number. You guys want to maybe call in, get on hold, speak to the Anchor Baby. What's on your mind? You're like, what do you mean no such thing as racism? You want to buy the shirt? rebuildingtheman.com/stores. You want to ask questions? You can call in 888-775-3773. 888-775-3773. If you want to get involved, talk about this, talk about that, okay? This is what I want to talk about, though. I want to get into this. I almost wanted to comment something on that Bond premiere, but go watch it, okay? You're still hating yourself and others? What are you doing? You walk into homes, you ask for plates, you ask for food, you put your feet up, and then you go around hating yourself and others. And then on top of all that, you don't even click the like button. Okay, look, let's calm down. Let's get into the show a bit. Maybe I can give you something to like the stream about. But maybe you don't like the show. Maybe you don't like the stream. Leave a comment. I read all of them. Leave some commentary show some love. Show a little bit of love to your brother, the Anchor Baby. And leave a little comment, okay? Come in, say hello. You don't even say hi, say hello to the people. Say hi to the chat, say hi in the comments. Do something. Come on. You were raised better than that. Come on. Okay? And maybe you weren't, but you're an adult now. It's time to grow up. I'll berate you guys later. I'm kind of on Stormwatch a little bit. Just a little bit. A little bit on Stormwatch. You know about this. Hurricane Milton, which I believe this morning, its outermost rings of its storm began to bear down on Florida. And I believe it's out around this time as the day goes on. Hurricane Milton will be making landfall in full force. I think they say, what do they say? It's supposed to have like a time period. But around, it's going to just keep going, okay? By Thursday, 2 a.m., as you can see on the Hurricane Milton tracker, it'll be in the smack dang in the middle here. Okay? Hurricane Milton, wishing those people well. I don't know what it's already starting to look like. I was looking on X earlier to see just what is happening. What are the scenes over there in Florida as Hurricane Milton begins to bear down, okay? And they say it's going to be like 15 feet of storm surge. Okay, look. I found one of these videos that I know a lot of you people like these visualizations of destruction, especially when it's computer-generated technology and it's informative. You guys just sick people, not me, love to see destruction digitized and portrayed in an easy-to-digest way. You guys love it. Destruction, give it to me. You guys love it. So I'm going to show you just that. And maybe it's the reason why I'm on Storm Watch a bit, okay? Look, you know what 15 feet of water looks like? Do you even know? Let me show you. Breaking from Finance-A-Lot. Breaking, the storm surge for Hurricane Milton is expected to be 15 feet, to give you an idea of how deadly this is. Here's what 9 feet looks like, okay? So let's take a little gander what it all looks like. Some of you live where the earth shakes beneath you and you don't have any experience with this. But let me show you.
What does that look like? Well, let's show you. Imagine this. Imagine 3 feet of storm surge right here. Now, if this amount of water catches you by surprise, it's too late to evacuate.
Wow, really?
Cars are floating around and floating away. There's large objects in here.
You know, we were watching those cars try and cross that flooded street somewhere in the UK, and we had a whole bunch of fun, right? Watching people try and drive over a couple of feet of water, and you just need one bad splash, getting into your car intake, and that car is donezo. It is not turning on until you do some significant repairs, okay? So it's, you're not driving in this.
That could knock things down with a battering ram-like force. Now, there's no way, again, to evacuate with this kind of storm surge. But we know there's going to be places with more than 3 feet. Imagine 6 feet of storm surge.
Look at that, he's water bending.
Completely floods out the first floors of homes and businesses, and the only way to escape that is to move to the higher floor of a building. Now, unfortunately, there are going to be places that get more than 6 feet of storm surge flooding.
Dude,
Imagine
get out
this,
of there.
9 feet and even beyond of flooding, of inundation. This is practically not survivable.
Look, this is above the street signs. Look at, they got little stuff to show you to compare. There's West 46th Street in this CGI representation. The water is over the street signs.
Then 6 feet of storm surge flooding. Imagine this, 9 feet and even beyond of flooding, of inundation. This is practically not survivable. So please follow the advice of your local officials when they ask you to evacuate. And if you have any questions about what evacuation zone you're in, if you need to go and or where you need to go to floridadisaster.org. And by all means, everybody, please stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody. Look, over 9 feet. Hey, you don't have fancy force fields. Okay? Hurricane Milton. Who's in them zones? I'm on floridadisaster.org, like the man on the TV told me to do. Division of Emergency Management. Who's in the zones? Can I see the zones? What if I'm looking for quick information, Florida Disaster? Make a plan. You got to plan and prepare. Make a business plan. Okay, but it's too late. I didn't make a plan, floridadisaster.org. Neither did I I did not make a plan. I'm definitely not mitigating anything. There's nothing I'm mitigating. It's over. What do I do? Where do I go? How do I get Hurricane Milton? Is it too late? Public notices. Look, we're wishing the people well. I just want to see what it looks like when someone's trying to evacuate the area. You know, if someone call me a government shill or I don't even know what kind of joke I'm making there. Just saying, I think I'd evacuate if I saw something like that. You know, I'm in an evacuation zone. What do you mean? Oh, that sounds like I gotta go. Call me not this guy, for example. Call me basically not this guy. Lieutenant Dan, they're calling him.
All right, Dan, the people that are new, explain to them why you're deciding to stick out a Category 5, one of the worst hurricanes in
Might be swears coming up. Apologies.
Tampa history, out on a 20-foot sailboat in Tampa Harbor.
He said, I put my faith in God, not man.
To come out here and get a boat. I came out here.
Wait, what? God told you what?
God, I don't put my faith in man. God told me to come out here and get a boat. I came out here and got a boat. And everything that he's been telling me over the last 2 days is I'm doing the right thing. He's got my back. I'm in good shape. I ain't sweating it. We're going to ride this one out. We got set up the way we know what we're doing. And as long as the water just keeps rising, we'll be fine.
Will you be wearing a life jacket?
Hell no.
You got
God. Are you
God.
going to be able to swim if it need be?
In circles.
Can you swim with one leg or what?
Yeah, I can float like a damn champ. But swimming, I just...
Who can float in the water? I've always thought about this. I've been swimming. I remember swimming young, and I can float. It feels like I could float forever. I just float. I don't know what it is. I must have an internal baleen system. And I don't know, whatever, let out gas. Look, I can float for a long time. I don't know about you guys, but you didn't learn that skill yet? You're missing points on your skill tree. Maybe I'm being silly. Maybe that wouldn't last and I'd drown. But I've always thought that. I'm just like, just float on your back. That must be an ignorant thing to say, huh?
Go in circles.
So the plan's just to stick it out here?
Yeah. I mean...
Good luck, boat dude. It turns out he actually did go to shelter, though. He is indeed getting shelter. Chief of Tampa, this other video update. So, thanks, God. Thank you, God, but I will, in fact, take this nice man's request for shelter, is what Lieutenant Dan maybe thought. Okay, Nick sinks like a mug. Okay, clearly people don't know how to float on their backs when swimming, okay? You didn't grow up with a beach in your backyard. Storm watch, 9 feet. It looks wild, right? But we're wishing them well. Amazing things with the weather in the world. Look, here's one that you might not believe. And then you might be like, this is, okay, now, Nick, I can believe giant weathers, storms. I can believe that weather, just wind flies at such a speed that it destroys things in its path and storms happen. But you want me to believe that we're on a globe spinning at millions of miles around a star in space endlessly forever. That's okay. I mean, look, it's an amazing video. And Bill says the earth is round, and I believe him. Amazing shot for the photographers who might care. For the videographers, 1/6400 second exposure, 14 millimeter, ISO 500, half a second interval at 30 frames per second. Amazing. I mean, you saw the gigantic hurricane, right? A scar on the earth, but we're wishing them well. Hurricane Milton is coming in. Thanks, Lil Nick. Hurricane Milton's coming in, and I wanted what else did I want to mention here? I wanted to mention something here. What did I want to mention? I'll move on from that, but FEMA, if I may, for a second again, bring up FEMA again. I know we talked about it. And I had even some great calls on it. FEMA and the response to the hurricanes. You know, in fact, I had one caller, one individual, the Manster himself of the internet, called me. He was saying that he believes that Biden and Kamala Harris should be in jail. They should be criminally charged for a dereliction of duty, essentially, for not responding fast or correctly enough, etc. You know, he brought up the billions that were spent on Katrina, for example. And Katrina, you know, whatever. And, you know, there's a lot of criticism right now against FEMA and Biden and Harris, and the response. Is it good enough? Is it fast enough? What's with all the money going to the illegals? Is that why you guys are messing it up? Why aren't they being helped? And, you know, I was wondering yesterday, besides conclusively saying whether, because I pretty much kind of stayed away from that, you know, truly conclusively saying whether this particular hurricane has been responded to correctly and all that. I mean, some like my caller said, some say it's so bad it's criminal. But I did wonder yesterday, what is a government supposed to do besides the jobs that FEMA has, which is to maintain and mitigate disasters, and maybe you can criticize and say not enough was done, and that is their job. I was saying though, what about, would you really want to leave that kind of stuff up to the government? Your own safety, personal safety, etc. Your neighborhood, you know? Some people don't think beyond themselves, right? So if so, then I'm not talking about you. But most people think about at least just themselves, right? Do you really want to leave that up to the government? And then, of course, what is the government even supposed to do when responding? If the money is going correct, if they're giving the money and doing what they can, rescues, supplies, money, what else in the, like, I can't think of much that the government can do besides helping where they can. Now, the charge may very well be that they're not even doing that. That they're simply just not even doing that. But I gotta say, like I was saying yesterday, there's a lot of politics just going on. Look, there's the hurricane itself and the people who need help, and that's all real. That doesn't need any energy and pizzazz to drum it up or negatively. It is what it is. And then there's all the talk and fight around it, and it's really just political. It's seemingly just political. And so I finished my show, great calls, loved the topics and all that, and I came across a clip. I came across a little clip with Ron DeSantis, no less. We remember Ron DeSantis, remember? Remember he had the old college try. Maybe more than the old college try, maybe a big team and a lot of money behind him. A story for another day. But he gave the good old college try, right, to be the Trump without Trump, Trumpism without Trump. Hey, American people, I know you literally have a Trump that you can vote for, but allow me to convince you to usurp Trump. What an ego. But anyways, I think we've all forgiven him for that, right? I think we all forgave him for that. He's doing a great job as a governor. You know, you do your thing, Ron DeSantis. Seemingly, right? He does a good job. I think the Floridians love him. Floridians. That sounds like an alien. Floridian. Ron DeSantis, let me show you a little clip. Here he's talking about this aid, FEMA, and all that. And let me show you what he says. Let me show you what he says with a silly sign language person in a bubble next to his head. the deaf people got to understand stuff too, right? So I don't know why I'm making they look silly. They look funny, but that's obviously because I don't understand the language, right? It's like other languages sound silly, right? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Anyways, Ron DeSantis, tell us about the disaster relief. How's that going? And this is about Helene, not Milton. So this was some days ago, if not more than just a few days.
But everything we've...
Hold up. Let's turn that up.
But everything we've asked for from President Biden, he has approved. And we do think we'll get more approvals for some of the individual assistance and the debris removal after landfall. But everything we...
Here, play it again.
But everything we've asked for from President Biden, he has approved. And we do think we'll get more approvals for some of the individual assistance and the debris removal.
Everything he's asked for, he has gotten it approved. He's gotten everything he needs, he says, from Biden. He says, everything we've asked for, we've gotten it approved. Here he is in another, talking with the Fox people, and he about the same thing and makes the same, pretty much the same assertion, although he stops short of saying that he got everything, like in a positive way. So we appreciate you circling the wagons, right, Ron DeSantis? You can't let Biden look good, but you can't let him look good, but here he is.
Just to conclude, you have what you need from the federal government, as well as you feel like you have the resources in place. Is that correct?
Every request we've made, and I've been in contact with the president. I've been in contact with the FEMA director. You know, it's interesting. Harris is not even in the chain of command.
Yeah, what
she
is
has
she
no
even doing?
role in this. I mean, the idea that I should be like worrying about her when I'm focused on the task at hand is just, quite frankly, absurd. So,
if you don't know what he's talking about, there's some controversy surrounding some call Kamala Harris made to Ron DeSantis that he did not pick up, and the two different camps have their own side of the story. He's saying he never got the call, and he's also even saying, and he's also making the point that, well, why are people even up in arms over me not talking to Kamala? She's not part of the process. Blah blah blah. That's what he's saying, and the media saying, hey, oh, during this hurricane stuff, they're playing politics and not picking up the phone and all that. It's such a crucial time. So he's doing the rounds about that. But you notice he did say he got everything he needed.
Man,
yeah, what
she
is
has
she even
no
doing?
role in this. I mean, the idea that I should be like worrying about her when I'm focused on the task at hand is just, quite frankly, absurd. So yes, all of our requests have been answered. We have marshaled all state resources that are available to us. It's going to be a very robust response, but it's going to be a lot of damage, and we're bracing for that. I'd ask everyone to keep us in your prayers. We know we're going to get hit, but hopefully we can pray that this storm will weaken and do the least amount of damage possible.
All right,
Absolutely.
Just
Milton, he's talking about Milton, and of course, Florida bracing and all that. And I see calls coming in. Thank you for that. 888-775-3773. I will get to calls here shortly. 888-775-3773. So Milton's coming in, but as you heard him say, like I was saying yesterday, and even the day before, about just a general instinct on caring too much about the government. And besides that, even like what can a government do? So you're hearing all this noise about their failures of their duties. And although it's true that FEMA spent all their money on the illegals, it's reported, and I mean, whatever, believe what you want, but I got to at least tell you the reporting. I got to at least tell you the reporting and be accurate here. And they're getting the wasting of money with FEMA and the illegals did not stop or hinder, according to them, to hinder this aid in either its amount or in its speed of arrival. You understand? So it seems they're doing what they can. In fact, it could very well be FEMA's doing a fine job. I left it as an I don't know, but I was saying this yesterday, the day before, wondering what is the government supposed to do? And of course, the reporting on, well, all the reports are saying they've met all the needs that they needed to meet. And not only that, to put the cherry on top, I found this clip of it's Ron DeSantis. He's saying he's received everything he needs. Now he's a Republican and all that. And that's, you see, the point I'm making is just this, that it really is a lot of just politics, okay? Politics and fighting and elections and all that. All this FEMA coverage and hurricane coverage. It really is trumped up, so to speak, on a lot of that. It really seems like that. And I think this kind of proves it. I mean, you got a Republican governor saying he got everything he needs. The $750 I was saying, I alluded to yesterday, but failed to fully mention how I was thinking that $750 it's meant for fast, quick money for supplies that you need, food, water, baby food, and medical supplies, first aid. $750 it makes sense. Do you understand? $750. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm expressing the politics and the emotion around the whole conversation. And whatever, let them duke it out. Let them get the brownie points for the Trump and the Republicans, maybe, sure. That might have its place and all that. But as the general public, and look, I guess you can't hope for the general public. It's the masses. They're going to be the masses. But individuals in the general public, the individuals watching my show, if only the whole general public listened to it, maybe things would be different. But for the people who are listening, can we at least be the few, the individuals, the individuals who think a little different, who don't get swept up? And I'm not talking about surging waters. Sorry, easy, low-hanging fruit. Swept up by hysteria, emotion, no matter where it's coming from, what title the person has that's telling it to you. And to not get swept up, okay? What is the government supposed to do besides what they're doing now? And great points, by the way, for a lot of my chatters, even my caller there. And if it's true, what he was saying and what others are saying, that there is, and you could show me, you could prove it. You don't have to prove it to me. I mean, just, I guess, have it be proved. I'm not the arbiter here. You don't have to prove it to me. But if you could show that there really was a dereliction of duty, a failure in that aspect, in a certain respect, and I might even have evidence of that. We'll get to that in a second. Or if it's not evidence, it's at least evidence of what's to come. But if you could show that, then sure, you could show that problem. You could show that that's even maybe a crime or something. But at the fighting over this it's politics. It's politics, okay? But why I'm urging at least us, the few, the ones who are hearing me, why I'm urging this separation, this individuality, because you while the politics are happening and the factions are fighting and they're trying to win their election, you are getting worse. You inside are getting crazier. You're getting worse. You're getting more insane. By why? Why? Because you're being primed to go with feelings, emotions. You're being primed to let go of the already crumbling instinct in the American public to wait and see, innocent before proven guilty. I'm going to find out for myself. I'm not going to let someone else think for me. I will have no leaders or teachers, despite being a well-adjusted man operating within a system and that has a hierarchy and you vote and blah, blah, blah. But even no matter what, thinking for yourself. See, while that's all happening, the public gets worse. And that's Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. And I guess you could even go into, you could even maybe even criticize the parties. Let's say you're a Republican. You may even be able to bring a criticism against the Republicans like, well, I don't know about what I was about. Forget what I was about to say. What I'm showing you right now is this image. It's a little meme. Oh, we love little memes. And I see a lot of memeing like this. I see a lot of memeing that's like this. And you're seeing an image of what seems to be Kamala Harris in a FEMA helicopter, okay? She's flying above this white family who is avoiding a disaster by camping out on the roof of their home. They look sad. They look confused. The father looks angry. Their truck is inundated. It's floating away in the water. Their home almost completely submerged. And Kamala Harris, cackling from a helicopter, a FEMA helicopter, says to them, "How are you going to vote for Trump now? How are you going to vote for Trump now?" The person who posted this, I'm sure is a nice guy, but I don't know. SKS Cartoon says, "Not an accident," about this hurricane stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of memeing like this, like, yeah, it's government lasers. And look, I'm not going to, look. I really am a guy that leaves space for a lot of things, especially for the things I don't know. Guess what? That includes machines that can control the weather. That's not crazy. That's not far-fetched. There's already technologies that exist like that. But I'm still a guy that can admit what I don't know. Look, so many people are just with this mentality, this tribal thing, and they're swept up in the emotion. They're like, yeah, we got to get Biden and Harris. And it's so obvious the hurricane was created by Harris so that Trump voters could not vote for Trump, even though this is before the election. There's still time for them to gather their things and figure out a way to vote. You kind of got the timing wrong. That's one thing. That's just one hole that comes to mind. I'm sure you can think of more. I'm sure you can think of more holes in the logic here, okay, folks? And this is our side, and I'm only saying this to communicate and get people to think. Our side. What the heck is that, anyways? But it's right, we're the good guys, the smart guys. They get it. We're based, and we know the truth, and we can't be lied to. But in fact, that's all I see on our side. People easily believing lies and swept up by the crowd. Okay? So cohesion and sanity is like at all-time low amongst all Americans. You understand? It's like at an all-time low. So I wanted to show you a quick clip for because although maybe you've been listening to me and you're thinking, okay, well, Nick, maybe my assumptions, I'm going to have a wait-and-see attitude. I'm hearing FEMA spent all their money on the illegals and had nothing for the hurricane victims, and now I'm hearing from you. They, in fact, they're reporting they do have the money, so what's everybody mad about? It seems like they're distracted. Okay, Nick, you're making a point. Let me show you a quick clip, though, because even if, whether or not they are doing a good job right now, FEMA and all that, I promise you they won't be doing a good job. They, in fact, will be doing such a bad job, such an evil job where today at least, it's still crazy to, I think, most people. But tomorrow, this will be normal. This will be the way the government runs. And they will be openly saying, sorry, hurricane disaster victims, you guys are in a white neighborhood. And historically, you guys have more money. So we're going to give disaster relief and all that to blacks and gays and everybody else first. And that is how they will run it, if they aren't already to some degree. And let me show you proof of that. These FEMA officials, they all got together and they did some conference here. Some little Zoom conference. You see the FEMA logo and stuff behind one of them. And End Wokeness posted this on X. FEMA disaster preparedness meeting. I want you to watch this. I want you to watch these. The leaders of tomorrow.
Sparked a few things in my mind, thinking about preparedness and how you said, LGBTQIA people and people who have been disadvantaged already are struggling. They already have their own things to deal with. So you add a disaster on top of that. It's just compounding on itself. And I think that is maybe the why we're having these discussions, is because it isn't being talked about. It isn't being socialized. We're not paying attention to this community. Thank you so much.
What the?
Maggie.
Thank you.
So he's already making it about LGBT people. What's Maggie got to say? Maggie with her she, her pronouns in her Zoom little name here.
There are a couple of things that are intersecting in my mind here. One of them is the culture of emergency management as an organization, as an industry in the United States specifically, not abroad. This has, and my cat sometimes does this, she gets really loud suddenly, so you'll have to just allow for the little meowing in the background.
Not professional, but it's a cute little kitty. We shout out, I'm going to use a little hate report thing. Shout out the childless, I don't know if she's childless cat ladies of FEMA. Shout out we love the cat. Look, the cat ladies need love too. They could be 5 people. The cat ladies. JD Vance, I know, has caused a huge rift between MAGA and the cat ladies. But the movement is love is for all people. Look, anyways, let's move on. Maggie, what do you got to say about this?
Gets really loud suddenly, so you'll have to just allow for the little meowing in the background. The shift that we're seeing right now is a shift in emergency management from utilitarian principles where everything is designed for the greatest good for the greatest amount of people to disaster equity. But we have to do more. Right. And so this topic is intersecting, I think, with a number of other topics where we have to look at policies and understand to what extent they have disadvantaged communities that had less assets, communities that had pre-existing vulnerabilities in accessing disaster-related recovery supports.
What disaster equity? Folks, the insanity has no bottom. Hell keeps going forever. And though it will take it over everything. Grievance politics and racial stuff like this. It's gonna take it all over. Utilitarian. Oh, you mean we should use money in disaster preparedness in a utilitarian way, meaning helping the most people? No. She said it herself in plain English that no, we will not be logical. We must do disaster equity because they're sad and they lead sad lives. More on that later. I want to get to this call. More on that in a moment. Disaster equity and the Trojan horse of society and the levers that are... There's an interesting relationship between the levers that the government chooses to flip around and, flick to control the people. It's very interesting exactly what levers they use, and it lends to a little bit of insight what's happening in human nature itself. I want to get into that in a moment, but first, a little love to the callers, 888-775-3773. Thanks for holding patiently. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Nick, it's Internet Manster.
Welcome. I was just talking about you, man.
Yeah, I feel bad. You went on a good long spiel there. I was kind of calling to reflect a little bit on what you've been talking about, but if you want to change the subject, we could change the subject.
No. Speak freely about anything you called in about.
Okay, well, I tend to rant, as you know. That's why I call you, because the wife...
You got to keep that under wraps, man. You got to say, not in public. I'm your second wife, but you got not in public, man.
Oh,
gotta make me look
I kind of
good.
wanted to hyper-focus my rant a little bit from yesterday because
right.
I feel like I got a little off topic with the dereliction of duty,
Yes.
which is, a thing.
And may very well be a fine charge here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I'll tell you, I think the bigger scope of what I was trying to rant about, I kind of got off topic. So let me try to hyper-focus it, because it kind of goes back to a few of my other calls that I called you about. Remember, the first call was,
Man, hold on. Can you hold that thought for like half a second? I need to go press a quick button. Hold on.
Yeah.
The button has been pressed. Go ahead.
Okay. I feel like I can kind of wrap up a few of my first couple calls in this one little rant here. So I called you the first time about, do we think Trump is really going to deport everybody? And then I called you about the media and the polling. And then when I called you the other day about this topic, it was more focused about the media. So I think really the true enemy that we're facing here, that I think should be held accountable, I don't know if it's criminal, but is the media. Okay, what I was trying to rant on about yesterday.
Yeah, we didn't
was
quite
the
get to
fact
explore that. I remember that being a pretty interesting point. Go ahead.
Okay, what I was trying to really explain was when Hurricane Katrina got $62 billion for relief. I mean, I misspoke when I said it was an isolated situation. It really wasn't. It was across a few states, all across the Gulf. It impacted Texas to Louisiana to Florida, all the way across the Gulf. I mean, all these industries were devastated for years. And it took a lot of resources to fix them up, right? So I was just trying to show a comparison with the money that they got for that compared to this. And it is pretty devastating to rebuild these areas. You know, who's paying for it? To get the roads back, to get all these things back. So it's quite expensive. You know, these were pretty far out areas, so it's going to be even more expensive to reach these areas. All right, getting off topic. The problem is the media. What I was trying to point out yesterday was, you see, when Hurricane Katrina happened, it was under President Bush, a Republican administration. When Hurricane Ike happened, that happened under Obama. Now look at this current one. It's under Biden, right? Now, what I was trying to point out was the vast difference. Now, when Bush was president, a Republican, when the hurricane hit, the media was all in about pressuring the government that, hey, you need to give more resources to these people. And when they all got on, because it's a Republican, right, in office, so the media's left-leaning. So they're all in on fighting these guys and showing, hey, these are the bad guys. They need to give more money. And so what did Bush do? He reacted to that, and he did. He gave them more money. And I guess you could say that was a good thing. Now under Harris, or Biden, right, Democrat. Well, why is the media treating this like yesterday's news? Because it's a Democrat administration. There's nothing for them to gain to pressure them about this. These are their friends. They're not going to pressure them that, hey, they need to do more. In fact, they're acting like when Republicans point out all the flaws and all the problems, they're saying that, no, they're just conspiracy theorists. That's crazy. No, that's insane. This is exactly what you were saying during Katrina. All right. In fact, we're using your words against it's just now you just changed who's the bad guy. So that's what I was trying to mostly point out was the media controls who gets what, right? And if the media doesn't have your back, you ain't getting it.
You are correct, man. This is actually a really interesting line of questioning because it really does fit with exactly what I was just saying too. Because, for example, Bush giving them the money and all that under the pressure, the pressure. Look, you're saying it was a good thing. Could it just have easily been maybe a bad thing? Like the pressure made him give money that he didn't need to give, whatever. If you look at it a different way, you could say that it was a bad thing. But the point remains that it was the media pressure. And why was the media pressuring? Because it had to do with the guy that they were teamed up with. And that's actually a really interesting line of questioning, because if you see it with the perspective I'm saying, where actually FEMA is seemingly doing what they have to do, and the media is just taking pot shots for the candidate they like, it really does continue this conversation we're having, and adds to it, and could maybe even be seen as criminal. That's what I'm undermining. They're undermining for pure politics.
Precisely. There's nothing for the media to gain to criticize Biden or Harris for this. They're supposed to be helping her, right? These are supposed to be her friends on CBS, NBC, ABC, all the alphabet news agencies. These are supposed to be her friends. What do they have to gain from pointing out all the flaws that FEMA's doing? Now, had that been Trump in office right now when this happened? For sure. They'd be, oh my God, where's FEMA? Why don't they have the money? Which they probably would have. So look, when the media gets involved and they're like, hey, these people need money, they got $62 billion. When the media is not involved, they get $204 million. Right?
I mean, look, the point on the media undermining purely for political reasons, it stands. It totally stands. It could be that the $62 billion was too much, man, or $160 billion, really, $160 billion. Well, it could be that was misused, and I really don't know.
Possibly, I'm sure a lot of it was.
The point stands. The point remains, though. It's the media's almost criminal involvement to undermine disaster relief and institutions, depending on the candidate they like and all that. I mean,
it's sick. They do it right in front of you, like in your face. It's sick.
No, that's clear, man. I think that's a fine point. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to get off topic really easily, but that was my main focus yesterday. Was really the enemy is the media. I mean, they're trying to. The right's going to say this is Kamala's fault. The left is going to say this is Biden's fault. Well, you know what? Like I was saying with the polls, it's all BS, man. Dude, I do see people that support Harris, but man, that's 1 in 100 people, dude. I don't believe these polls. And I heard Jesse this morning saying the same thing. He'll believe that. He'll wait and see with his wait and see attitude. I love that attitude.
I know. I got to do more of that. Let's do some more waiting and seeing. Right on, man. Right on. Hey, nice call. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, just a quick thing. Just real quick. I'll try to
Please, no problem.
I know you're the best caller, dude. Seriously, I can't wait to hear that.
888-775-3773.
I wanted to point out something that I kind of started to point out the other day. Now, have you ever watched the original Star Trek from the 60s with Captain Kirk?
No.
No? All right. I just want to point out one thing that's not really
and that's a show, right?
big fact.
That's like a show.
The TV show,
with
Star Trek,
the original with
William Shatner.
William Shatner, and okay, cool.
Yeah, all right. Best show ever. Seriously. If you want to just binge watch something, that's the show. Anyways.
Well, maybe pick an episode, and maybe we'll watch it on Discord. You part of the Discord?
I am not, but I've always wanted to figure it out. I'm not good with phones.
I'm going to post the link in the chat, and you continue what you were saying.
Okay. I just wanted to point one thing out with the Star Trek original show that I just think anybody that loves the show would love this too. Something that doesn't get highlighted, but it's a very Christian show. That's a hardcore alpha male Christian show.
Really?
And Captain Kirk, Spock, and Dr. McCoy are 3 individual men that have different characters that bring the alpha male together. Captain Kirk is brave, and he's, very kind of well put together. You got McCoy, the doctor, who's a little more emotional, but he's seen things from like your heart. And then you have Spock, who's logical. I'm sorry if there's my neighbor's mowing the grass, but
no, I don't hear that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Spock, and he's logical. And when you put all three of those men together, you have the perfect men. And on the show all the time, they make biblical references, and it's a good Christian show. And I know Hake. If Hake would ever watch Star Trek the original series, I think he would fall in love with it.
Nice, man.
But I just wanted to point
that out. No, I wanted to let you
something.
point it out because I've pointed out how I think Goku from Dragon Ball Z is actually a Christian. So I wanted to hear you out when something you watched and you loved, over some time, and you connect it with, I had to give you the chance there to lay it out. All right, chat, Star Trek viewers, what do y'all think? Hey, man, appreciate your call though. Great call, man. Call me again.
Nick, I love your show, dude. It's my favorite thing at night.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
All right, buddy. You have a good evening.
888-775-3773. Goku's a Christian, okay? And he has no anger. He has no anger. He's the prince of knowing nothing. He's all love. He only does what he loves. And it's not because he's trying to be a Christian or he's trying to be good. He only fights because he loves to fight. And he does his God-given talent. Look, he's a Christian. He's a Christian. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what you tell me. And Vegeta, you see, he's almost just as good. He's always trying to beat Goku. He's just there. He has everything Goku has except for one thing. He has anger, and it holds him back. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what you tell me. Anyways, look, I wanted to continue on this a little bit. Disaster equity. I played that clip for you. The FEMA officials are openly talking about no longer allocating money to what is the utilitarian good. Utilitarian meaning use the money in the way it's supposed to be used usefully, and not only it's the most useful way to do the most good and protect the most people. No. It has to be disaster equity. And if you're black, gay, and all these things, you are entitled, deserve greater protection from your government. And that means that others deserve less. White people, etc. Christians, Appalachians, Republican voters, the South. Anyways, look, I'm bringing that back up because I wanted to, how do I do this? I have a little comment on the Trojan horse in just ways of thinking, okay? How these topics of wellness and the greater good are constantly used as Trojan horses for the greatest evil. And they'll sit there and they'll say, look, disaster equity is what needs to happen. But there's simply just less and less money being used for programs and these kinds of things like disaster. How do we, this is pure conjecture, what I'm about to say, pure conjecture. How do we prime the public to, not expect more money, expect actual help from the government? I know I got finished telling you to be an individual and not expect from the government. That being said, they are still being paid with tax money to do certain things. How do we tell the public? How do we prime the public to expect less, to expect their tax dollars to go, not to go as far? Just get them worried about equity. Oh, well, of course they're not getting money. They're not the equitable people who are supposed to be receiving it. Trojan horse. You know, they say it's climate change. And I see calls coming in, 888-775-3773. Appreciate the patience. They tell you Milton.
25.
They tell you Hurricane Milton. That they tell you the devastation you're seeing in some cases, it's because you didn't. It's because you want too many things, America. You want your car. You want to be able to drive your car every day. You want to charge your phone all night and, have a functioning power grid. You think you want a reliable power grid, America? How dare you? Look at what you're doing to the weather.
Yeah, and if Hurricane Milton continues on its current path, it's going to be just the third storm in nearly 175 years to form in the Gulf of Mexico and then hit Florida. Why is that significant, and how could it affect the storm's impact?
I mean, the real concern is you're basically giving this hurricane maximum runway across those super warm Gulf waters. But the difference between then, those hurricanes in the late 1800s, and this one is that because of climate change, our atmosphere is warmer. Those Gulf waters are much warmer. They're record warm in some cases. So you're just giving that hurricane more time, more runway to strengthen, to intensify, to collect more water, which because of climate change, we know these hurricanes can dump more rain, and they can dump that rain even more quickly. Again, just underscoring the importance of what these folks are doing here in Central Florida. Christine.
All right. Yeah, and if Hurricane Milton continues on.
Yeah, it's just, because of climate change, he says, just, you know about that, right? You don't need me to explain that. He says, so matter of factly, it's just climate change. It gives them the ability to just gather up more water to dump on the people because, climate change. It's just climate change. It's just climate change. Another Trojan horse. So I've been hearing commentary about climate change and the green initiative, all the whole green stuff. I've been hearing commentary about this for some time now. I'm sure a lot of you are already well aware of this if you're, kind of just following conservatism, whatever. Look, I'm sure you're aware of, it's like when they were telling Trump to get out of the Paris Climate Accords, These climate change things are just ways to hamper the American economy while others who aren't hampered by such silly notions like a clean planet. Their economies boom and their industry booms. Sanctions and hamperings of the American economy before time even. Yeah, sure, you asked me, let's clean things up. I would love a clean. Clean, I like clean. Beauty, clean, why not? I love it. But, before time, I'm sure you've heard of this. This angle from the whole climate change stuff, that it's really a way of making you consume less, a way of controlling you, hampering the American economy or controlling it. Oh, you got to be cleaner, you got to consume less, you can't eat meat, etc. I've heard these things before. But it makes me think a little bit about, I want to kind of add to that a little bit, that angle, that reporting that I've heard over some time. It's just so true, right? I mean, these people, they make you be green while they live high on the hog, as Jesse says. They're not going to stop eating the meat. They're not going to fly the planes less. They're just telling you to do that. And it's going to allow the planners, the people playing Sim City with us, to better allocate those resources and all. If you're not eating them all up while they do it, they're not going to stop. So I've heard this reporting before. I wanted to add a little bit on this whole Trojan horse and how they control the public. Because all these things you're hearing, climate change, disaster equity, even other things that you wouldn't think is just politics and power. In fact, I mentioned one. One was mentioned in today's Punchy TV episode. You're going to want to catch it this upcoming Monday, 2 p.m. The boys and I think we had a grand old time filming that epi. So you're going to want to catch it Monday. So I won't go into it at all. I'll leave that as a surprise for all of you. But it was mentioned even social media, TikTok. They're trying to ban TikTok and all that. Look, there are big plays for power happening. And the power and it has to do with energy. It has to do with information, energy, military power. There are fights happening in the shadows right now. There are mad dashes happening in the shadows right now. A mad dash for who gets to control the internet and who gets to control what you see on your phone and what you're allowed to say on these social media platforms. There's a mad dash for controlling consumption of resources that are over time becoming more scarce. Oil, energy, blah, blah, blah. And so they're fighting about these things, and they're happening in the shadows. But how does a government that still has to contend with a voting populace that I guess they have some say, I mean, they get to vote, these friggin' people. How do we deal with that? How do we navigate power where in a government, in a nation where its founders had the foresight to mitigate that as much as possible, separate the powers, and let the people have the power as much as possible. You know, with some reason, right? They were like, when they were wondering, well, we want the people to pick the president. They didn't say, just let the people have a general vote. No, they knew that was foolish and not, disadvantageous and not will not build a efficient society. So they came up with the Electoral College, but still the people vote. So how does a government navigate that? Well, let's take a look at the levers that they use. Are you following me so far? Because look, the levers that they use are our emotions and the things that we're into. And what are we into? We're into the most degenerate, useless things. How does a government push along some agenda? Well, they push the candidate that's, for example, loves abortion. And boom, you got a little lever. You got a lever that controls the people and gets them all to come out and vote. And what do they care about? They care about abortion. They care about immoral, such low thinking, immoral things. And what are they? And meanwhile, you're voting for abortion, they are enacting their whole agenda, which is so much more than that. While they're telling you that we need to ban social media because it's for the children, they're actually in the shadows having a big old fight over who gets to control the internet and what you see. But what do you care about? What does the individual care about? What does the pawn care about? The children, you can't put cyberbullying on the, you can't do that. We need the government to protect us from cyberbullying. And meanwhile, while they push that lever and control you, you see the relationship here. It shows the evil. It shows that the public has no idea what the government's doing and all the evil things that they want to do, that they're lying about. But at the same time, the way that they're enacting this shows how evil we are, shows how evil the people, how stupid and evil the people are, because all they had to do is push this lever of abortion or the children and cyberbullying or climate change or disaster equity, and you give it up to them and they get to do whatever they want. The levers that they're actually pushing around is a mirror to us, a grand mirror to us, what we look like. You understand? So that's what I wanted to kind of add to that, because it's all about power, it's about this political, all this stuff you see on TV. Look, your life is not about this. This is all false power. But it's all about the oil. It's all about the oil. It's all about the money. They don't care about TikTok and the children and protecting free speech. And no, it's about who owns what.
Iran, you're not going to do any business with the United States around. Iran was broke because I told China, if you buy from Iran oil, it's all about the oil. That's where the money is.
It's all about the oil.
But if you buy oil from Iran, you're not going to do any business with the United States. And I meant it. And they said, we'll pass. They didn't buy oil. Other countries, likewise.
Sure.
You want to buy, you're not doing business with the United States. And they were at a point where they had no money for Hamas, they had no money for Hezbollah, they had no money for any of these.
Oil, energy, power. These are the things. These are the things that order some of the fights and factions that are happening in the shadows and beyond the everyday attention span of the American individual, for example. Not climate change, free speech. No, it's oil, power. Who has it? Who doesn't have it? Who has the edge over this person? You got this coalescing, these forming factions, BRICS. They're fighting over oil. You understand, folks? You're being hoodwinked and being told it's about something else. Like it's not about ego and power. And, you know, that has its place. If you ask me, I want an individual, a man who can fight for us and get us the most piece of the pie. You know what I'm saying, baby? That's how we... Look, anyways. Look, this is a barrel of oil. Gasoline, look, oil gets distilled into a lot of important products that gets used around the world. And yes, a big chunk of that is gasoline. And there is one individual man who's actually challenging this whole chunk of the global economy. Elon Musk, electric vehicles, lithium. No longer, now there's a global fight over what's a more important natural resource, you know? Guess who has a lot of oil? Iran, Saudi Arabia, people, nations in the faction that's forming against the West. And you got Elon Musk challenging. Look, he was even saying, he's been asked actually in some interesting interviews. I remember listening to one. And he was asked, hey, Elon Musk, did you know that when you started Tesla, that you were going to challenge geopolitical entrenched powers? He's like, oh, no, I had no idea. I had no idea. And I have no reason not to believe him. But at this point, it's not just, he's just Elon Musk with, look, I really do like him. I like him a lot. I'm just saying that there seems to be a general assumption like he's just some guy and I think he truly loves free speech and he truly wants America to win. I sincerely believe that. But I think there's this kind of natural assumption that, you know, people like Elon Musk, for example, are just, you know, factionless. They're just unbiased people with money. No, there are factions forming. Teams are forming. Power is coalescing. And it has to do with all the things that I'm talking about. They're all interconnected. And you know, whatever. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It sounds to me like we have a pretty cool team forming. If you ask me, it sounds like we have a pretty darn cool team. We got Trump, Elon Musk, the Jews. Hey, it sounds like a pretty cool team. Look, I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know. So, do you understand where I'm coming from? There seems to be this assumption, this assumption, it's this view. It has to do. I think it has to do with like an ignorance of power, soft power, and economic power, and all these things. But anyways, that's just me bloviating about some stuff, geopolitics and whatnot. The levers of power. Look, speaking of power and false power, look, as an individual, I just got finished telling you how the government uses such shallow things to get their agendas done. What can you do, the individual? What does that mean for you? It means that you're actually very important. Look, you're not. Look, I'm not saying this so you get an ego, but I'm telling you that you're very important to these people pushing the levers around. Their hold over your mind and your thoughts and feelings and emotions is very valuable, clearly, to a lot of people. What can you do today? Take back that value, in a sense. By what? Not by doing something, but by doing nothing. By doing nothing. And in that moment, you separate yourself from being swept up by all the things I've been talking about so far. Okay? So anyways, it might be a cool team, okay, chat? Why are you guys getting all... It sounds like some of you in my chat, you didn't like that dream team. Some of you don't like a certain aspect of that team. It might be a cool team. It might be a cool team. Exactly, Chris. Stop playing the game. What are you doing playing? Stop playing the game. I was telling you earlier that it's important for your personal development and even like I don't know, mental, spiritual health. You don't get swept up. Then you're going to go around saying lasers made that hurricane. Kamala Harris's lasers sent that hurricane to the Republicans. And you'll say that with no evidence. Let me put that little asterisk. You'll go around and start saying that with no evidence. And you sound silly. You sound silly. All right, let's move on here. I got a caller here. Your name and where are you calling from?
This is Steve in Ohio. What's up, Nick?
What's up, Steve? It's nice to hear from you. How you been, man?
Yeah, man, very well. I
Very
catch
nice.
you guys when I can. I'm just working a lot. You know how that is.
Good to hear, man. Right on.
Dude, this that whole monologue was solid, man. It's definitely all based in the ego and confirmation bias. Like, it's huge. That's what I was going to say is, like, I've been using that. What you guys talk about, where you lay your weapon down. It just makes so much sense now. Like, the longer you do it, because you get so tied to identities or things that were never yours, but you're trying to claim possession, but it's the not you doing it and all that. But the longer you sit back and watch, it's like, why even vote at this point? Like, you feel me on that, I guess.
On the why even voting?
Yeah.
Not particularly. I'm personally not there.
Okay.
Like, I'm just not personally there. Yeah. Now, what do you say? Because what do you think? Maybe, yeah. Tell me why you think. How do you figure? You might be right.
I was gonna say the voting wasn't even my issue. You lay your weapon down to a point where I believe that the United States back in the day was the United States. Like, it was 50 small countries of separatists that had their own small governments, and then when they needed oversight, they would reach out for the federal. But it's got so subverted over time, and so that dream team you're talking about, I want Juice Crew number 1, Trump number 2, and Elon number 3 for sure.
Some people may have their reservations on exactly the members of this team and all that. And look, I hear all criticisms. I don't know everything. I'm just saying. I'm just noticing the teams forming, and hey, whatever.
It's kind of solid, dude. Like, I mean, you got the layup man, you got the point guard solid out there, and they're gonna clean up. No, but there's one more point, dude, I wanted to make. I'm sorry to cut you off on that too.
Go.
I want to talk about the blacks, if that's all right.
Please.
All right, so I think it's, like, incredible what's happening with, like, the FEMA reaction, and also when it comes to the state level with funding, like, say, EBT cards, and when you get government cheddar for food, now that they get to see the illegals getting that free hand, they get to step in the shoes of other people who've never gotten that privilege of the handout. So it's almost masterful what's going
Whoa.
on. It's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting it to a point where it's like, oh, so now you can see how others have felt from you just absorbing and not contributing. So are you helping or hurting? It's lesson and a half right there.
Oh, okay. I got you there. Are you also saying that the people begging for assistance, in a sense, have now been brought down to that level of, there were people before looking at other. Are you saying that there were people criticizing the people begging for help, and now that there's a corrupting effect to now being in that position yourself?
Well, yeah, maybe to see that, like, what do you value? Did you earn your keep, or, like, because I feel like that does a lot to the human psyche, is earning your keep. Would you agree?
Like, yeah, I think so, in a positive way.
Yeah, like when you do the village streams and all that, someone's out there farming, someone's out there, like, exploring, trying to, like, everyone knows their roles, but if you're not helping, you're hurting.
I think so, man. I think that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense to me, man. Look, People should have received the look. FEMA's there for that very reason. People should get the assistance they need. The government has that appropriated, and that's all fine and well. Not saying it, not taking away from that at all.
Yeah, no, hopefully, I mean, if they quit playing with the Juice Crew space lasers controlling these storms all wacky, bro, I mean, we might survive this, like, the rest of this month. I'm hoping.
Well, we're wishing those people well. I mean, it's apparently it's just kind of hitting them now, I think. It's wild.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So, I mean, I guess we'll hope and, hopes all is well. But
Big time,
that's all. That's all I really got, Nick, man. I appreciate you guys a lot. Just keep doing what you're doing and, just keep rocking, bro.
Nice to hear from you, man. Call me again.
All right, yes, sir. Bye.
888-775-3773. Yep. What else do I want to say about that? Let me see. Buymeacoffee.com/anchor, baby. You've been watching now. It is now an hour and 16 minutes in. You've been at the party this whole time. Your shoes are off. You don't even care what your shoes smell like. They're ratty. You're coming in from, you just did a shift at the kitchen. You've been working. You come out, you take your shoes off. You don't care. You got a hole in the sock. You're people were watching something and you changed it. And now you're watching what you want to watch. You're like, yo, pass the aux cord. This show's amazing. I'm sitting here yucking it up with the people in the chat. The people in the chat are lovely. I'm making friends with Zenny, Alias, Him Diddy, Jado, C-Sal. They're all so nice to me. The D, Carver, Bob, Ergalunas, Harmony. I'm here yucking it up with them. I'm getting food. And you haven't even clicked the like button. This whole time, you haven't even clicked the like button. Click the like button. Show some decorum. Show some manners. Show that you were at least raised in a home of some consequences. Click the like button. Maybe you don't like the like button because you don't like what you're seeing. Leave a comment. At least say hello. What, you don't even say hi no more? Say hello. Leave a little comment. Tickle the algorithm. Appreciate it, everybody. Like the stream. Let me check something real quick here. Let me say thanks to 𝒔𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Appreciate you always super chatting and supporting, man. 𝒔𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 says, Nick, it's confirmed weather weaponization. I'm not saying no. Just like, give me some evidence, evidencia. So speak. Let's use our noggins here, our God-given faculties of thinking. And what is thinking for? To figure these things out, not to figure out your life and why you feel that way. Stop doing that. You're going down an evil path. You could stop that right now and never do that again. But yeah. English, please. English, please. English. Should there be a law in America requiring English only? I know this was a topic brought up on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And it got some people. There was a caller even, seeming like a nice guy. Look, he was in Canada. Seems like he likes Jesse. Seems like he liked Trump even. A Chicano in Canada. Since when were there Chicanos in Canada? I mean, I grew up in Canada. I remember I didn't meet a single Mexican in Canada. Isn't that what a Chicano is, a Mexican? There's Hispanics. Look, there's plenty of Hispanics. There's all sorts of Hispanics in Canada. All sorts of brown people. Browns in America are Mexican. Brown in Canada is like Indian and Muslim and like that brown. There's a whole bunch, okay? But Mexicans, I didn't even meet once. I didn't even meet one growing up. I remember I do know two Mexican ladies. They're half Mexican. Shout out the sisters. The sisters, what's up? I'm not going to say your name. So I guess I met two, but it's rare. So I'm just thinking out loud. How are the Chicanos getting to Canada? Usually they get to California and or Texas and they stop there. But anyways, a nice guy. He wasn't too happy with all the commentary on the whites making these countries great. I mean, it's not just whites, right, Jesse? It's men. It's not white men, it's men. And what's up with the racism? No, I'm messing around. He did not say that. But the topic got brought up about speaking English, and that video that was played on the JLP show of this Uber delivery driver getting chewed out by some restaurant owner, I think a black guy. It looked like a black person yelling at this Uber, like, speak English, telling him to speak English. And look, the guy got mad. The restaurant owner got mad, and you get mad, you lose. Doesn't matter what you're doing, doesn't matter whatever facts you have, doesn't matter. When you get mad, you lose. It's just a fact of life. You get mad, you lose. Remember that one. It's a fact of life. So he got mad and he lost. That being said, he had a point. You know, this guy was a fresh arrival to America, Venezuelan. Did not speak English, a lick of English, but he has to make money for his family back home. So he got himself the Uber app, and he did whatever he had to do. He did it. Enterprising young Venezuelan, something to be admired, maybe, respectable in a sense. But when he was treated that way, he went all over the news and he's like, I was humiliated. I was humiliated. There was no reason for me to be treated that way. And that's fine. That might even be true. I'll leave space for the negative to be true as well. But look, that might even be true. Should be no reason for you to be treated that way. But you got to go on the news and make a whole thing about being humiliated. Couldn't you at least say, part of you say, I understand the frustration. There's a lot of people who don't speak English in America. And it's like, okay, you look into it. When you look into it, you get statistics and all that tell you that more immigrants are speaking English in America. But I don't know. It's like you scrutinize it a little bit, and the numbers change when it comes to generations. It's like, yeah, obviously, as the generations go on, for second, third generation Mexicans don't even speak Spanish anymore. They just speak English. But that's besides the point. It's that these people don't speak English. The first ones don't. And then it's a mess. It's a mess. For years, for generations, it's a mess. And I'm telling you, folks, it's more than just English is difficult. You know, they'll tell you, oh, English is such a difficult language to learn. You got to cut them some slack. I speak their language. I've asked them, and I've come to learn over the years from family members and others that it's not even that they don't want to learn English. In many cases, they do. But they really don't, at deep down, they don't have the will. And they also know that they don't need to have the will because their kids translate, Google translates, they got Spanish speaking services. They put the services, the businesses around them, because everyone's Mexican, is in their language, so they don't need to. And so they don't cultivate that will, and they don't really do the work. Because I've met them. Some of them want to. And they go to classes even. But it's all a show. It's all a show, and they're just putting up appearances because they know they should. But they really know they don't have to. Okay? So it's not even that it's difficult. They don't have the will. And, you know, should America be English only? I mean, it was. You want to say should be, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's besides the fact that it was, at least. It at least was for a long time. Spanish wasn't always officially right. And when you say officially recognize it, you know, depends on what you mean there. It's probably even federally recognized. I don't know. But look, it's Bilingual Education Act, 1968. Okay? That's as far back as you go for any kind of official documentation on making Spanish a second language here. Yeah, that's pretty modern. So it was pretty English for a while. Executive Order 13166, year 2000, issued by President Bill Clinton, This order required federal agencies and organizations that receive federal funding to provide access to services for individuals with limited English proficiency, including in Spanish. This reinforced the recognition of Spanish in government services. And so it's been an increase. So you could say what you want, but at least it was. They'll say English is difficult. There's so many words in English where one word means multiple things. Yeah, but in Spanish too. In a lot of languages. In like every single language, actually. Rich. The word rich. In fact, the word rich is the same. The word rich and its multiple layers is just as rich as it is in English as it is in Spanish. You know, rich, like a dessert, like a rich dessert. Or rich, like you have money. Rico, for the Spanish speakers. Right? It's the same there. Rico. To be rico with money. Or even like a rich dessert. Or something delicious. Or something just delicious. Anyways, look. It's no longer an English Christian country. It was. You can't fault the people who want to keep it that way. And there are arguments to be made to bring that back in some way, shape, or form. But, you know, it's like talking about communism yesterday and FEMA and all the things that people accept. And the levers, by the way, the levers that the government pulls on to control the people, abortion, all these topics, all these things that get people emotionally controlled. You get all that and more, way more of that with the class of the people that come in, the immigrant class, the immigrant people. They just don't get it. You know, they could be fine, decent people, really, hard workers in many cases. In fact, in a lot of cases, a lot of these legal people, they build a lot of things. They build businesses. They do their thing, man. Respect. They just don't get it, though. They just don't get it. I'll ask the Shell gas station Mexicans, and they have families. I think one of them even has now grandkids. So they got generations here, businesses. But I asked them, like, who's responsible for your neighborhood and your life and your safety? And they'll be like, no, it's the government. It's the government. It's the government. 100%, not even 1% is it on themselves. They just don't get it. They just don't get it. So now it's easier to pull these levers on America. And now everybody votes. Literally everybody, that's been increased over time. I heard it used to be male white landowners were the voters in America. You got anybody? Now you have to sell. Now you have to sell the right thing. You have to dress the right thing, to doing things the right way, and you have to dress it up and sell it to different demographics, different voting blocks in America. And if you're not Chicano enough, you're gonna lose the like. I'm talking to my family. You know, shout out my family, I guess. And we're having a regular conversation, right? And they say, you know, Trump or somebody should do more, say more for the Latino people. That way they'll get more of their vote. And I'm like, I'm hearing that. And I say out loud, I'm like, oh, okay. What you're telling me, I know that's what you said. I know you said, oh, Trump should get more of the Latino vote by catering to them. But what I heard, I know that's what you said, but what I heard is, oh, the Hispanic people are largely, you can assume, are largely an immoral people. Immoral people, easily controlled. My family's like, oh, you think Hispanics are immoral? That was a funny conversation. Yes. Allow me to explain. It was like an audible gasp. I didn't even think that was the controversial part that I said. I was like, let's get to it. He's like, oh, you think Hispanics are immoral? Anyways. English, please. English, for God's sakes. Yeah. Please. Some decorum. Some decorum in English. Ghettofication. Anyways, look. I want to do this real quick. A quick look into Storm Watch. Quick Storm Watch. Hold on. Let's get an update here. Quick Storm Watch here before we move on to the next topic. Hold on here. Quickly. You know, tomorrow's Bible Thumper Thursday, folks. On the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. Bible Thumper Thursday. You love it. You love Bible Thumper Thursday. So don't miss it. Jesse Lee Peterson, YouTube. Let's do this. Sorry, I'm trying to get an update for you. I wanted to get a view of the vacuum. People are evacuating, basically. The water has been sucked out of Tampa Bay by Milton. Whoa. Where are my meteorologists? Explain to me what's going on here. Are we seeing the bare, sandy bed of Tampa Bay? I guess we should look at... We're getting an education in geography here, too, live, okay, with the anchor baby. Look, this is how it's got to be. Why am I on Yahoo? That's why I'm feeling so much pain. Yahoo.com. Tampa Bay, they're saying Hurricane Milton has sucked out the water in Tampa Bay, showing some of the bed. You know, this incredible, powerful hurricane. You know, wherever it is, it's gathering up mass and water. I'm getting a little tweet here, apparently showing just that.
All the water has run out of the bay. We just walked over here. Luis is shooting. We're along Bayshore Boulevard. Hopefully you can hear me. The water is gone, so it has been sucked out by Milton, which we suspected was going to happen. Our light's not bright enough to see how far out it goes, but I don't see any for as far as I can see. So this is Tampa Bay.
Incredible. Oh no, that's an ad. Does she know she's an ad? Live ground zero Cat 4 Hurricane Milton intercept. Thanks for the patience. I'm just interested. Ads on ads. Hold on, folks. Hold on. We're almost there. Triple ads? In what world, YouTube? This is criminal. You've never done this to me.
Degrees.
Damn. Should this guy get out?
Is Benjamin Franklin flying his kite out there? No. I'm pretty sure he passed away a long time ago.
Dude, come on. You could be a little more humorous. So anyways, just want to show you some scenes real quick. Storm watch, storm check. And then we can move on from this here. Hurricane Milton has now intensified to a Category 5 hurricane with winds blowing 180 to 200 miles per hour. Okay. I'm holding out for one more possible update. Is there anything else? Look at that. I think that's all. There's people out there trying to survive, like as a joke, I heard. There's people trying to survive Hurricane Milton and stream it. Trying to be a streamer out there. There might be swears in this. Heads up. They're just out there streaming and they have chat going and chat. They're just like, hey, chat. Yo, chat, is this a W? W chat? Is this the W hurricane survival chat? Yo, W hurricane survival chat?
It was a nice run.
George Flood, that's not funny, chat.
GG, Shaq. It's my last
George Flood, no, stop, that's not funny.
stream. I'll kick last stream. I'm going out with a bang.
just like under a bridge. This guy's crazy.
No, fuck. Okay.
That's not funny, chat. George Floyd is not funny. Okay, that's it. I think we can move on from this.
What? Us just Ross commented and said he's not paying me. What the fuck?
Oh, moving on from that. Okay, so anyways, wow, Milton. Hey, Florida. Don't know what you're doing.
Hey, look at this.
Do we have any staying in place in my chat? Do we have anyone from Florida in my chat? Anybody staying in place in my chat? Anything for a little clout. Anything for views. Anything for views. What should I do for views, chat? I know I just got finished showing you like you shouldn't do that, right? You shouldn't care about the world, be an individual and all that. But it's just us. It's just us. You know, it's just me. It's me and my core viewers. I'm allowed to ask you guys. What should I do for views, chat? What do you guys want to say? I'm allowed to ask you guys. Anyways, everyone from Florida already. Hey, you don't know that, Carver. So it's battering down big time tonight. Wishing them well. Let's move on here a little bit. Speaking of streamers, speaking of the silly streamings and the people online and the culture, I want to show you a little bit on that culture. You know, some of you in my chat, some of you in my chat, you know, you grew up different. You grew up, you know, you can say things. You might get in a fight. You might anger someone, and you might find yourself in a self-defense situation. Well, no, you might find yourself in a confrontation, and for that reason, you either learned or had the instinct to be smart about what you say and all that, but you still knew that you could say what you want, and if you were gonna fight someone or whatever, if it's a conflict, you're gonna call them whatever. But it's not necessarily. There weren't necessarily taboo words. Or maybe there were taboo words for you growing up, but you knew that saying them would maybe get you in trouble or get you in a fight. But you wouldn't think that society would one day elevate certain words or certain behaviors and make them a cardinal sin. Should anyone utter one of these words, that morality, the proportional response and justice, morality, treat your neighbor like thyself, the golden rule, all these things thrown out the window. Thrown out the window should someone utter one of these words. You probably didn't think that would happen. But that is the trend, and the trend marches along. What trend am I talking about? You know, the N-word, for example. You know, you may not have grown up like that. Someone listening to me right now, and you're of the thinking that you just can't say that word. But some of you who believe even that don't think, should someone utter that word, all rules are out the window, and you can beat them to an inch of their life even, because they said the word that thou shalt not say. Some of you don't even think that far, but let me tell you, that's the trend. And the trend furthers along. It's justified by anger. It's justified by corporations, the government, and literally everything around you, mass media. They justify this anger. And yes, we're talking about black people. It's the anger in them. But if you're not looking at blacks and seeing the lesson that is applied to all people, then you have no love in your heart, and you're not going to make it. You're really not going to make it. If you're not able to see the destruction in the black home and able to see the grander message for all people, then you got some reflecting to do. But blacks their anger is justified. They're told they are told that they live in a racist country. And you know, people everyone else was taught, you can't be racist, you can't do this, you can't do that. We all grew up like that. You know what I'm talking about. Some people have the urge, some people raised in this society, they're younger right now, they have the almost uncontrollable urge. I don't want to even call it an uncontrollable urge. I want to almost disavow that statement. I don't know if there is such a thing as an uncontrollable urge. Maybe more on that another episode. But I want to stop saying that. I don't know if there is such a thing. More on that maybe another day. But they almost have this almost understandable urge to flout such rules of society, that you can't say such things and be racist and all that. They may not even have any racial proclivities or even think about blacks or anything in any sort of way. They just instinctually are not going to be told what you can't say. You telling me I can't say that? Well, I'm going to say that more than ever. There are some people like that. And they go on the internet and they're young and they go on chat rooms such as Omegle. If you know anything about Omegle or chat rooms like this, it's basically like a roulette. You open up your webcam, you click the button, and you speak to a random person. And they can see your camera. Maybe you can do it with your camera off. But you speak to random people around the country or around the world. And the assumption is, it's essentially, you assume it's like anonymous. You're never going to see this person again. You're never going to talk to this person again. And so that semi-anonymity, because it's not totally anonymous, you're showing your face, and people could be recording you. But in the vast majority of cases, people aren't doing that. And the semi-anonymity might have you acting all sorts of ways, might have you acting up all sorts of ways. Okay? Let me show you a racist kid. A racist kid has the bad luck of meeting a streamer on one of these chat rooms. And he has the bad instinct and foresight, the lack of foresight here to basically just go off on him and call him an animal and call him a chimp and call him, this is a person he doesn't know. This is a person he doesn't know. And you can criticize the kid, sure. I'm sure you can. Look, what are you doing going around saying, like, you don't even know him? But I would say that his innocence is also compounded by the fact that he doesn't know this person. Because it's like, you could also say it's just random. He's just like, look at this black guy. Let me just be crazy. Chimp, animal. You're like an African. You act like a chimp, blah, blah, blah. And he had the bad luck of this person is a streamer. Not only is this person on top here, over here, not only is this person a streamer and was recording them, this person has access to, almost illegal tools, definitely tools that break the rules of the website he's on, to somehow dox this person, this, I guess, kid, racist kid. He's able to use technology, almost illegal technology here, to figure out and I've seen his stuff, he does this with other people, so he seems to have some kind of tool that lets him dox the people he thinks that they're talking to. And he finds out, he knows his address, and you can see this guy get mad.
To get their actual
and you know what? He's gonna get his vengeance. He's like, oh, aren't you the kid that lives on
African?
Watch the clip.
They're like actual animal chimps. And they don't care.
30 St. Petersburg, Florida? Does that ring a bell? Oh, checkmate. Damn, it sounds like a library in this bitch. What's going on? You sitting there all quiet like a church mouse, dog. God damn. What was that you were saying? See, I bet you didn't wake up this morning thinking the chip was gonna do that to your ass now, did you? Now let me ask you another question. Who is Is that you?
That's his name. He's saying his name. And whoever posted this, whoever posted this, I believe bleeped it out because I heard the address in the clip I saw on his YouTube channel. I could be wrong, but I heard the address.
Don't tell me that's you, big dog. Not like this. You don't look like a to me. Usually are nice people. You look more like a Ryan. Ryans are hateful people. Oh, sorry. My bad. You want a piece?
You're really gonna ruin a 14-year-old's life over TV?
No, don't play the victim. Listen to me carefully, you fucking recessive chromosome. Okay, don't play the victim now. You knew exactly what you.
Hey, whatever. You can say a lot of things. You can say he's funny. You can say he got him. He got him good. He got him good. He wasn't expecting that one.
Who is
I mean, that's just the general, most people, you got to understand the trend I'm trying to point out is that most people, especially younger, would see this and say, no problem at all. They would say, yeah, get him, dox him, put his information out there, and they would see no problem with that whatsoever. These are the same people who would hear some story of some white person getting beat to an inch of their life because they said the N-word. And they'll hear that story and think, but he said the N-word though. What was he expecting? What was he expecting? Him to not get his life almost taken away for saying a word? What was he expecting otherwise? And I just want to point out that trend. That trend is an evil trend. It's the wrong direction. It's not helping anyone. It's not love for anyone. It's not love for the blacks. The blacks are getting worse. They're being justified in their anger. And like the content is funny. Like, fine, I'm not even that. The content is whatever. Like, it's like he got him. Okay, he got him. And that's the perfect viral video, especially if you bleep out all the stuff. But I'm pretty sure he doxes this kid. And I don't care what you tell me, doxing someone, trying to dox someone over words on Omegle is insane behavior. Is absolutely insane behavior. Like, out of control, next level insane behavior. Ridiculous small, weak, insecure behavior. And it's the type of behavior justified. You understand? Doxing is what? Asks Ergalunas. It's like an online term to, I believe it just means to reveal someone's personal information that was otherwise behind a veil of anonymity. Because you're on the internet, you're not necessarily showing your face. Even if you are, you're not giving your name and address and all that. When those details are put out on the internet, especially when they're against your wishes and will and all that, that equates to doxing, I believe. I think that is a fine definition for doxing. But doxing is going to be a thing of the past, by the way, folks. Like, doxing, as the governments are duking out who's controlling the internet, who has what power over what, eventually, whoever does win, they will institute real ID, internet ID. Look, your digital self will be biologically even linked to your real identity. We all doxed already. Good point, Lord Spike Protein. But yeah, that's also another trend. If we're talking about trends here, that is a definite trend, a slow march to that. Right to privacy and all that, not happening. Okay, you might have some right to privacy, but this whole thing that we assume we all have, this luxury of being anonymous on the internet, that will be a thing of the past. Your digital footprint, your digital self, will have a passport, and it will be linked to your real self. It will be almost a crime, if not a full-on crime, to have alternate accounts linked to alternate identities and false identities. That anonymity is pretty much already a thing of the past, but they will take it. That's the trend, and that's the next step. That's the further steps. It's to link your identity with your, but I've got an alias name. Oh no, Chris says Snake Pit going to the gulags. No, Snake Pit, I support your right to stay anonymous in the Snake Pit. That's not right. I bet you I don't even want to know what most of you look. And I'm not saying you're ugly. I'm just saying it's a funny thing about when you hear somebody or see them type. You make up all sorts of images and assumptions of what they look and sound like. And it's never what they actually look and sound like. So I'd rather keep at least some of my fantasy. Well, I don't know if it's a fantasy. Some of my mental pictures of some of y'all. Let's not ruin the magic. Let's not ruin the magic, okay? We don't want Snake Pit doxed, okay? That would suck. But yeah, Doxing kids. It's weird. It's weird. I don't care what anybody tells me. It's weird. All right? And I had this whole thing on cops and gamers and all that, but I'm going to save all this for tomorrow. Okay? I'm going to save all this for tomorrow. Great stuff. Let me check here. Checking my P's, checking my Q's. Let's check the super chats real quick. And you guys are always so supportive. Thank you. Guys are always so supportive. Thank you, Lin Yan Chin. Thank you so much. What's up? All right. Nick picturing me in an outfit. I'm just saying, look, let's not ruin the magic, okay? I don't want to know your identity if you don't want it to be known. But yeah, that's it. That's the support. Appreciate it, everybody. Rumble, what's up, Ohio Sentinel, Jules Verne, Mildew Grew, you guys rock. Thank you so much for the support over there on DLive.tv. Games for Rec, GG Cash, lemons and ice creams. Right on. Very nice. And of course, punchy.tv. Don't forget it. PUNCHIE.tv. Punchy.tv. You're going to want to keep it in your back pocket. Keep it saved. Lord Spike Protein, man, thank you. Always supportive, always appreciated. Lord Spike Protein with the generous donation there with a thumbs up. Little guy saying, little guy with a thumbs up. Always good. Alias Name is having a 470-gram steak tonight after some push-ups. Who's inspired? All right, come on, y'all. Get your push-ups and protein in. Don't be left behind now. Get your push-ups and protein in. Do it. What are you doing? While you still can eat meat every day in America. No, I'm making a joke, okay? I don't really, that's kind of, with the help of Elon, Trump, and maybe even the Jews, I think we're gonna eat meat for a long time in this country. What do y'all think? Maybe I'm wrong about here or there about something, but I'm thinking we got a good team. And we're going to be eating meat for a long time. At least for a little while longer. I'll say this to the dream team, if you're hearing me, if you want to add one more thing to your agenda, your policy on how to keep the union together for yet another 100 years. I've been saying this. N-word passes for every American citizen. N-word passes day one, executive order. Everyone gets an N-word pass. And there may be some pain, a little bit of pain at the beginning, but eventually the union may just survive another 100 years. Okay? If you're listening out there. If you're listening to me out there. But that's pretty much it for me, okay? Let me see. That's it. That's pretty much it for me, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. I got more for you tomorrow. Thursday's already here. That's amazing. Thursday's already here. Open line Fridays on Friday, but Bible Thumper Thursdays tomorrow. We got amazing shows with Joel and the Hake Report tomorrow. So I'll see y'all tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, as we do. But for now, I'm out of here. I am filibustering. I want to see a 555 on my computer to make it clean and I don't leave too early. But I'm thinking I'm going to go anyways. It's just starting to hurt. It's starting to get a little painful. Okay, people are noticing. People can tell. I think people can tell at this point. So I'm just going to say bye. What's another 2 minutes, all right? Take care, y'all. Always a pleasure. See you tomorrow. Oops. See you tomorrow. Bye.